Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this wonderful celebration of librarianship. I am Patty Wong, President of the American Library Association. Today, we honor the winners of the I Love My Librarian Award, all of whom were nominated by members of their communities for their outstanding public service. These 10 honorees are inspiring examples of what is possible in our profession. Their stories are a testament to the profound leadership, compassion, and expertise of our nation's librarians. On behalf of the American Library Association Executive Board, library workers, and advocates nationwide, I want to wholeheartedly thank Carnegie Corporation of New York for funding this important award. Your support allows us to continue celebrating the impact of libraries and librarians year after year. Thank you as well to the New York Public Library, another longtime supporter of this initiative. I would also like to acknowledge the members of this year's I Love My Librarian Award Selection Committee, who devoted many hours to choosing our 10 honorees. They are Julius C. Jefferson Jr., past president of ALA and chair of the selection committee. Kathy Carroll, past president of the American Association of School Librarians. John Cockthorn, past president of the Association of College and Research Libraries. Melanie Huggins, president of the Public Library Association. And Carol Matute, senior director of branch libraries and patron services at the New York Public Library. Thank you so much to these 5 leaders for your hard work and insight. Just a few months ago, we started with a pool of more than 1,300 nominations submitted by library users across the nation. Thanks to the selection committee's expertise and dedication, we now have 10 outstanding winners joining us today. Now, please join me in welcoming Julius C. Jefferson Jr., immediate past president of the American Library Association and chair of the I Love My Librarian Award Selection Committee.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It has been such an honor to lead this year's selection committee and to discover the stories of so many incredible librarians who go above and beyond for their communities every day. Over the past decade, only 140 out of the nearly 200,000 librarians in the country have been honored with the I Love My Librarian Award. And now I am thrilled to introduce you to our newest group of honorees, all of who have changed lives in their libraries, cities, schools, and campuses. Their stories are powerful reminders of the many ways libraries build community, expand access, and promote inclusion for all. Our winners are innovators, creatively transforming their library spaces, resources, and services to better serve their community's changing needs. Our winners are educators, empowering students and lifelong learners of all ages through access to information and instruction. From teaching classes and leading enriching programs to supporting research and scholarship, today's honorees are committed to spreading knowledge throughout their communities. Our winners are champions of inclusion, expanding access to traditionally underserved populations and broadening representation in their collections. They've worked to make their library spaces where people of all backgrounds feel they belong. To our 10 winners, your impact goes far beyond the 4 walls of your library. Thank you for your dedication and your passion. Now, I am delighted to introduce Carol Matute, Senior Director of Branch Libraries and Patron Services at the New York Public Library, as well as my colleague on the I Love My Library Award Selection Committee. The New York Public Library has been a long-standing supporter of this award, and we are so happy to have them represented here today. Carol, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Today, we join you to once again celebrate the I Love My Librarian Award. Conceived with generous support of the Carnegie Corporation of New York. This award, which is also co-sponsored by the New York Public Library, recognizes and celebrates the dedication and commitment of librarians serving people, communities, and neighborhoods from across the country. I am thrilled to be part of this process, especially as we look back at the past 22 months of life and service, where librarians and library workers put forth a valiant effort to support their communities during the difficult and often uncertain times brought on by this pandemic. We are now honoring 10 colleagues, selected from over 1,300 nominations submitted by library users nationwide, who have stood out as exemplary librarians this past year. This award is one of the opportunities we have to celebrate ALA's core values, values that may at times be tested or challenged, but which librarians uphold. Librarians and library workers have long valued supporting access to information across all age groups and can be found anywhere we have communities of need, in neighborhood branches, schools, academic institutions, and more. You can also find them conducting programs in community parks or laundromats, driving around the neighborhood in bookmobiles, distributing materials to incarcerated populations, giving books away to children and families. They create safe spaces for others to explore, understand, and access information. This award thus acknowledges the fact that librarians have the power to change the lives of families, individuals who are incarcerated, children and teens in school, college students, researchers, the elderly, the undocumented, the avid reader, and the reluctant reader. They're here for everyone, and they will continue to adapt and utilize new technology to serve our communities as new needs arise, even in the face of a crushing disease. All of this is reflected in these 10 deserving librarians who, through their warmth, creativity, drive, dedication, and passion, have made a difference in the lives of so many. On behalf of the New York Public Library and the selection team, I can say that we are proud to be part of this process and to be here in celebration of our winners today. Winners, we appreciate your hard work and graciously raise a toast to you for continued success in your roles in your respective communities. Congratulations.
Now, let's meet our 10 winners. We're thrilled to have members of the I Love My Librarian Award Selection Committee introduce this year's honorees. First, please welcome Kathy Carroll, Lead Library Media Specialist at Westwood High School in Columbia, South Carolina, and immediate past president of the American Association of School Librarians, who will introduce our 3 winners from school libraries.
Thank you, Julius, and hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to highlight this year's school library winners who have transformed their school communities through their efforts in sustainability, inclusivity, and inspiring a love of reading. To their students, school librarians are mentors and friends. They are leading change in the libraries and classrooms, all the while changing their students' lives for the better outside the walls of their schools. From expanding representation in their collections so their students see themselves in the books they read, to encouraging health and wellness through collaborative activities, to helping students apply information literacy skills to save the planet. School librarians are changing lives and the world, one student at a time. To their teacher colleagues, these librarians are partners, collaborators, and as one nominator put it, co-conspirators on all levels. They are creating cross-curricular experiences, helping curate and build diverse and inclusive classroom libraries and reading lists, and instilling a culture of positive behavior and love of learning throughout their schools. Please join me in recognizing Shannon Horton, Melissa Pilot, and Arnolfo Talamontes for their outstanding accomplishments and the incredible impact they've made in their school communities. Shannon Horton has worked to make the libraries at Decorah Middle School and High School in Decorah, Iowa, as welcoming as possible, both in the physical space and the collection. Led by her guidance, the renovation of the high school library opened up the space with dynamic furniture to encourage collaboration and various shelving types to highlight books and facilitate searching. Shannon's commitment to inclusion is evidenced in the library's collection, and she has worked to ensure all students see themselves represented in the library's books. As her nominator wrote, being student-centered comes naturally to Shannon, and she is so adept at finding ways to help everyone feel welcomed and validated. Congratulations, Shannon.
It's such an honor to be receiving this award, and I want to start by thanking the American Library Association and the I Love My Librarian Award Committee. Growing up, my parents, both public school educators, made sure to surround me with books, and I'm so appreciative of that. I can vividly remember regular visits to the big brown bookmobile parked in my neighborhood. I was also within walking distance to our local public library, and these experiences allowed me to discover the power there is in making your own choices as a kid. When I finally connected my love of libraries and working with young people and applied for the MLS program at UW-Madison, I had finally, after a very long and winding road, found myself in the right place. Now I work as a middle and high school librarian for the public school system in the small town of Decorah, Iowa, and I love what I do. Above my state and national standards, the development of empathy and the power of truth are my two guiding principles. This year, 39 high school students joined our Project Lit book club. They stepped up to read Dear Martin by Nick Stone, a book that for most of my students pushed them to think outside of their own experiences and build empathy and understanding. At the middle school, my 6th grade students can determine the credibility of online information using lateral reading, distinguish forms of misinformation such as satire and native advertising, and fact-check viral social media claims with a great deal of proficiency. I can't do this work alone, and I'm so appreciative of the people and systems in place to support me. With that, I'd like to thank my library assistants, Beth Wahlberg and Sue Lansing. Without the two of you, this whole operation would crumble, and that is not an overstatement. A sincere thank you to my nominator for this award, Liz Fox, for being my partner in crime for every new idea one of us gleans from all of the educators we follow for inspiration. I'm so lucky to have you in my corner. Thanks for making me a better teacher and person. Finally, thank you to Mark Lane, Superintendent of the Decorah Community School District, Kim Shepard, Principal at Decorah High School, and Justin Albers, Principal at Decorah Middle School, for all of your support. Not to put you on the spot, but maybe we can make that bookmobile a reality now. I think it's the perfect way for me to spend my summers. Thank you.
At the Forsyth School Library in St. Louis, Missouri, which serves students preschool through 6th grade, Melissa Pilot is saving the planet. Within her first year, she introduced story times for younger students about caring for the earth and each other, and helped older students apply information literacy strategies to evaluate recycling facts and myths. In 2019, she co-created a multi-week cross-curricular event where older students investigated single-use plastics, including their production, the industry lobby, and alternative to plastic bags, and then showed their findings to younger students in a hopeful and meaningful way. As one nominator said, "We love our librarian who loves the earth." Congratulations, Melissa.
Hi, my name is Melissa Pilat, and I am the School Librarian and Media Specialist at Forsyth School in St. Louis, Missouri. Learning about this award prompted me to scroll back through what felt like a blur. The photos on my phone that I don't remember taking, the books I logged that I don't remember reading, the news clippings printed out for posterity, the webinars, the video chats, the protests, the more webinars, the more protests, and another full year of teaching in person in masks to little humans who were just trying to make it through each day. I can't begin to speak for all teachers. Our experiences were so different and all difficult for personal, professional, and politicized reasons. But I can look back at almost 2 years of library services that went above and beyond in ways some of us couldn't even imagine before. School librarians are pretty above and beyond. We can be the invisible thread that pulls the pieces of a school together. The students, the teachers, the families, the curriculum, the social and emotional learning, and I think most importantly for me, the relationships from grade to grade, from year to year. But we are not a luxury. We are not expendable. Every child deserves a library stocked with a collection containing accurate facts and inclusive fiction. Every school deserves a qualified school librarian to lead and serve the students, teachers, and families. The recognition this award conveys is not so much a reflection of me. Many school librarians have done all of this and more. I hope that all of our communities can see this the way my community sees this. I feel supported and loved even on the toughest days. And I thank my Forsyth School community and the faculty and students who nominated me for this award. Thank you. I also really want to give a shout out to the Missouri Association of School Librarians and the Association of Independent School Librarians. Their work throughout the pandemic and before has just shown how important membership in organizations can be to sustain a community through some of the toughest times. I really appreciate all of the support that they have given to school librarians throughout this time. I'd like to end with my favorite George Washington Carver quote. It goes something like this. No individual has any right to come into the world and go out of it without leaving behind him some distinct and legitimate reasons for having passed through it. I would say without a doubt that being a librarian, protecting the freedom to read, providing access to accurate information, and supporting a culture of reading, learning, and growing. These are legitimate reasons for passing through. Being a librarian is a legitimate reason for passing through this world. Thank you so much to the American Library Association and all of the people responsible for this award that elevates the work of so many librarians within our community. Thank you.
There's a rebellion growing at Sul Ross Middle School in San Antonio, Texas, and Arnold Talamontes is at the heart of it. He has transformed the culture of reading with the school's Rebel Bucks and Rebel Reading League programs. Using a bookstore model, students purchase books for their own at-home libraries with campus currency, earned through positive behavior in the classroom, a win for students and teachers. Arnolfo also established a community garden for the school where he encourages students to learn about healthy food alternatives and engage in team building activities. As one nominator wrote, Mr. Talamontes is not just a librarian, he is a mentor to so many kids. Congratulations, Arnolfo.
Hello from San Antonio, Texas. My name is Arnulfo Talamontes, and I'm the librarian at Sul Ross Middle School in the North Side Independent School District. To say that this is an honor is an understatement, and I'd like to use this time to thank a lot of great folks in my personal and professional life that have helped make this happen. I'm not here without them. My mom was a nurse in South Texas for over 30 years. She's a single mother of 3 that never shied away from what needed to be done and doing it in a way that would always benefit those in need. She's the most selfless person I've ever met, and it was through her example that I learned the importance of serving others. I'd like to thank my wonderful wife, Ann, who has seen and supported me throughout my evolving career in public education. She's without a doubt the most supportive person in my life and the best person I could ask to have in my corner. I'd like to thank Sam Houston State University for helping me prepare for the world of library science. Their guidance was the most valuable piece of direction I could have ever had when I first started my career. I'd like to thank Northside Independent School District, Lisa Kolka, and the great folks at our Library Service Department for continuing to champion and support the phenomenal librarians in our district. I'm surrounded by some of the finest individuals in the profession, and I'm a better librarian because of their influence. And I'd also like to thank my community at Sul Ross Middle School for giving me a chance to build what I thought a library could be and believing in our vision. Without the support of our staff, teachers, and administrators, I wouldn't be talking to you today. Thank you for providing me with the freedom to serve this endearing community. You've allowed me the honor to build a campus bookstore for our students in order to promote book ownership. You've allowed me the freedom to support our population through classroom libraries filled with the latest high-interest titles. And you've allowed me the freedom to build a campus garden that continues to engage our community in more ways than I could have ever imagined. Simply put, I'm a better human being because of Sul Ross Middle School. Thank you to the American Library Association and to every individual involved with this award. I'm humbled and I'm honored to be here with you today. Many thanks.
Next, John Cockthorn, Dean of the Wayne State University Library System and School of Information Sciences in Detroit, Michigan, and immediate past president of the Association of College and Research Libraries, will introduce our 3 winners from academic libraries.
Thank you, Kathy, and hello, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to highlight this year's academic librarian winners. I'm impressed with how our winners have uniquely gone above and beyond for their institution's students, faculty, and staff, as well as for their larger local communities and, well, librarianship as a whole. These winners exemplify how college and university librarians are active partners in research and demonstrate the potential of that research to affect change on campus and beyond. Their work is transforming their campuses, unveiling and tackling hidden histories, and contributing to the creation of new scholarship through their close collaborations with faculty and students. Today's winners are leaders who created innovative programs that center racial justice and inclusive pedagogy in the classroom. I Love My Librarian gives us an opportunity to create examples of how to build more equitable campuses and communities which make a profound, lifelong impact on student leaders. Libraries and their staff are truly at the heart of college and universities, and it's been heartening to see just how much of an impact Shamela Cromartie, William Gibbons, and George Oberle have made on their communities. Please join me in celebrating these three outstanding individuals for all they've accomplished on their campuses and beyond. The library at Western Carolina University in Cullowhee, North Carolina, is leading in diversity and inclusion on campus thanks to the efforts of Shamela Cromartie. As one of her signature achievements, she developed and implemented a Faculty Fellows program that coaches faculty to employ inclusive pedagogy in their courses and provides funding for classroom materials through a competitive application process. She has also created a diversity residency program to recruit underrepresented populations to work at the university's library and thus open up pathways to librarianship as a career. As one of her nominators wrote, she is a mentor to students, a collaborator across campus community, and is stellar in all she does. Congratulations, Shamela.
I'm so honored to have won this award, and especially after being nominated by my treasured colleagues across campus at Western Carolina University. I'm glad that I've helped you see that the library is for you too. There are so many people that have helped me along the way, along the journey to be a librarian and to stay a librarian. My family, of course, and I would also like to thank Ms. Sherwin Rice for years of mentorship and advice. She has certainly helped me to stay the course from library page to associate dean over the last 20 years. The late and great Bell Hooks said that one of the most vital ways that we sustain ourselves is by building communities of resistance, places that we know we're not alone. And I'm so grateful for this community that has let me know that I am not alone. To Dr. Brandy Hennett Crawford, you are such a thinking person and for sure proof that iron sharpens iron. I'm also grateful for Dr. Darius Stanley, Dr. Dana Patterson, Dr. Ricardo Nazario Colon, Jane Adams Dunford, and for Dr. Farzaneh Razagi, who has always believed in and supported me from day one. This community has surely taught me about equity, equality, and justice, and given me a set of tools to navigate the difficulties of the time and apply theory to my work to make Hunter Library even more inclusive for minorities and marginalized populations. I wish that every librarian would encounter supportive and collaborative faculty and administrators such as yourselves. I'm so proud of this community, and I'm grateful that you saw fit to write these words about me. I'd also like to give a shout out to Dr. Monica Cox for showing me what bravery and self-care looks like in academia. She's helped me to realize that it's more important than ever to celebrate your wins and accomplishments in and outside of work, and to bring your full, authentic self to work, and most importantly, to hold people accountable, especially in DEI work. In libraries, we know that it takes a lot of moving parts to make any one thing happen, and that there's no actual magic. It is the hard work and perseverance of the staff that makes collections and information accessible to me and to everyone else. And that gives me the opportunity to promote and pass along the important work that my colleagues in libraries do daily. I'd be remiss if I did not specifically mention the good folks in Interlibrary Loan who help me fulfill the missions that my colleagues are so often grateful for. I'm especially grateful to my librarian friend network across the South who help me to get what I need to be helpful to those who reach out to me for assistance. Again, I'm grateful for my colleagues across campus who continually are grateful for me, for my presence, and who stay tapped in to me and my work. It's because of them that I have been able to thrive and not just survive during the past 2 years. And finally, I would like to thank the Chancellor of Western Carolina University, Chancellor Brown, the Provost, Dr. Richard Starnes, and also Dr. Brandon Schwab, Dr. Carol Burton, and last but not least, the Dean of Library Services, Chuck Thomas, whose support is greatly appreciated. Thank you again.
As a librarian, a teacher, and a mentor, William Gibbons is changing lives on his campus and in his community. Through his work serving a large population of students and the general public at the City College of New York's Morris Cohen Library, William is helping patrons and students reach their academic goals and overcome obstacles by lending his research expertise and a friendly ear. And through these efforts, he has inspired future educators and librarians. He is well known in the community, devoting time and heart to the Harlem Little League baseball and blending that experience with his own scholarship. In the words of his nominator, William Gibbons is the epitome of the academic librarian. Congratulations, William.
I'm honored and deeply humbled to receive this award. I'd first like to thank my family, Adelise, William, Noah, and Noemi, for their love and their support. I'd also like to thank the American Library Association for considering me for this award. I'd like to thank those that nominated me and saw the value in my work and my commitment to librarianship. But I especially would like to thank those that played a pivotal role in my early career development as a librarian and as an archivist. Carol Reisner, Burl Ever, Leslie Harrison, Jerome Hammond at the New York Public Library for their mentorship, and at City College, my mentor, Rob Lorch. 27 years ago, I walked into the Harlem branch of the New York Public Library, where Jerome Hammond recommended I consider a career in librarianship. Looking back, I've had the pleasure of helping and supporting young adults and children and families and students and staff and faculty become knowledgeable library users and utilize library to their fullest potential, to show value in libraries and connecting people and families and neighborhoods to libraries. 27 years ago has gone by quickly. And when you do something you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work. I enjoy going to work every day. I'm looking forward to the next years of helping, encouraging people and connecting libraries and schools and neighborhoods and communities. Thank you. God bless. And long live print books.
George Oberle is uncovering the past in search of a better future at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. A dedicated historian and admired librarian, he runs the university's Center for Mason Legacies, a research center housed in the university libraries seeking to preserve and examine the history of the university's namesake and the people he enslaved. His work has transformed GMU with a memorial in the center of campus and has culminated in an array of primary sources and educational resources for the university community. As one of his nominators wrote, Dr. Oberle is a bridge builder. He uses the tools and skills of a librarian to link us to facts, open analysis, and unstoppable curiosity. Congratulations, George.
Hi, I'm George Oberle, the history librarian and an assistant professor of history at George Mason University. I'm incredibly honored and humbled to have been selected to receive one of the I Love My Librarian Award. I am overwhelmed by the letters that my colleagues and dear friends wrote on my behalf to support my nomination. And I'm so grateful to them and to the host of my colleagues over the years who've helped me grow. I actually never thought I would be a librarian. In fact, I often said that librarianship has been an accidental profession for me. While I was a student worker, several mentors told me they knew I would become a librarian. I didn't really understand that. And I often replied that it wasn't going to happen. I really wanted to be a teacher and a scholar. But these people taught me that these were not mutually exclusive ideas and professions. In fact, the more I learned about what librarians actually did, the more I realized that there could be no more noble profession for me to spend my life working in. I saw it from the ranks as a student worker, as a paraprofessional, and eventually as a professionally trained librarian. the people I worked with were mentors, and they're just so numerable that I can't mention them individually. As I got to know them, I saw that they each had incredible, exceptional skills and expertise, and each one of them were dedicated to assuring that all people had the right to access the information they needed to fulfill their research needs. To me, that was like becoming a magician. It was the greatest thing that one could ever do. I've learned to be a good librarian and scholar and teacher thanks to my colleagues in this very diverse community at George Mason University. The diversity there has really allowed me to grow, and I've been honored to be a part of that community since 1994. It's actually been a great sight to learn and apply these skills and to become better at each of these things. In the end, I realized that all I really wanted to do was help students to learn to become better researchers and to perform scholarship that really mattered to them. I wanted them to see that the things that happen in their local communities, the things that happen in their lives, are actually really important, and that these events needed to be understood within a larger global context. In the end, what I really wanted them to understand is that they matter, and that we can all make a difference, and we can all make the world a better place. I'm particularly honored to be a part of the team who developed a memorial to the enslaved people of George Mason. We sought to better understand the messy history of our namesake, George Mason. We wanted to honor his accomplishments while also uncovering his shortcomings. In the end, we sought to find hidden voices, to tell uncomfortable truths, and to work hard to recover lost stories, which we believe will help promote healing through our scholarship. I'm so grateful to be a part of this community at George Mason that encouraged this work and continues to encourage this work. Working with the students and faculty at Mason has been the greatest honor of my life. Thank you to the American Library Association's I Love My Librarian Committee and the sponsors of this amazing award. I honestly don't believe I deserve it, but thank you anyway. I'm happy to receive it. I'm grateful for the honor and grateful to be a librarian. The award really is one for all of my teachers and mentors. And lastly, I'd want to thank my family for their support over the years. I couldn't have done any of this without their help. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Next, Melanie Huggins, Executive Director of the Richland Library in Columbia, South Carolina, and President of the Public Library Association, will introduce our 4 winners from public libraries.
I'm honored to present today's 4 public librarian winners, whose work is a powerful testament to the unique role public libraries play in our communities. As this group of awardees demonstrates, public libraries are far more than just a place to check out books. They are vibrant spaces for people to gather, play, and learn. They are providers of vital services to communities in need and unbound by their walls. They are a place for families of all kinds who can find education, fun, and camaraderie all at the library. Public libraries are also spaces where all are welcome, no matter where you come from, no matter what your needs are. With determination and compassion, these librarians created innovative programs and built a culture of inclusion to ensure that everyone they serve can access information. They have empowered so many people in their communities, and their impact will be felt long into the future. Please join me in celebrating Juliana Aceves, Renee Greene, John Paul Mahovsky, and Tammy Mo for their tireless service. Juliana Aceves has been bringing the library front and center to families in Arlington, Texas, and beyond through her programming efforts. In particular, she has led the charge in reaching Spanish speakers and immigrant families, as well as lower income residents of the area. Her service to children is especially noteworthy, with a catalog of programs that inspire, excite, and connect families. In the midst of the pandemic, when the library space closed to the public, Juliana's popular Spanish story time went virtual, and she became the face of the library for many in the community. As one nominator wrote, "She is truly a gem here in Arlington, and we love that our parents have someone like her as a resource to promote early literacy in the community." Congratulations, Juliana.
My name is Juliana Aceves, and I am one of this year's recipients for the I Love My Librarian Award. I am still in shock that I have won. I feel kind of amazed that I won, and I'm really honored. I'm really honored to have won this, and congratulations to those others who have also received this amazing award. Thank you to those who have nominated me. I truly appreciate it. You guys are the ones who believed in me and let me kind of run with my programs, but also to my old manager, Bethany Fort, for being a great manager and helping me with my goals, with my career, and any questions I had. And to the amazing team at Arlington Public Library. I have an amazing team that I get to work with. They are a group of women that I get to bounce my ideas off of, and they're always there for a helping hand. So I truly couldn't have done anything without them. And to all the libraries out there, I grew up going to the library, and even though I wasn't supposed to, I was supposed to go straight home after school along with my little sister, but little did my parents know I did not go straight home. I would go to the library and pick up my little books and sneak them home and read them, and then kind of repeat this process a few days later. It was not until I think I was in college that my parents found out what I was doing, and they were very surprised. But libraries have always been part of my life, and that is something that I want for every kid. I want libraries to be part of their lives because we offer so much, and this is a place where they can come and read whatever book they want, and pick anything up off the shelf and ask us questions, and just kind of find resources that only libraries can provide sometimes. And so yeah, it is a truly special thing to be a librarian and to be a librarian at East.
When a derecho tore through Marion, Iowa, and the surrounding area in the summer 2020, Renee Greene came to the rescue for her local community. While the library space was forced to permanently close its doors, Renee provided vital services, including helping inspectors assess structural safety of their homes and staffing temporary technology locations to provide internet access and FEMA assistance. She also started the Marion Derecho Digital Archive to collect and preserve the stories of community members. Beyond her heroics, Renee has made a deep impact on the Marion area with her programming efforts, including facilitating the city's first Pride event, starting a sensory browsing hour at the library, and so much more. As her nominators wrote, "We love Miss Renee. She makes the world a better place." Congratulations, Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee Greene. the director at Vinton Public Library in Vinton, Iowa. This is a brand new role for me, and I'm having a wonderful time getting to know my new community. I was nominated for the I Love My Librarian Award by staff and patrons at my previous library, Marion Public Library in Marion, Iowa, where I was a children's librarian. As I read through the nomination letter, I was overwhelmed by the accolades given by my colleagues and community members. This is because, as public servants, we don't focus on our own accomplishments through our career. We don't do what we do for the glory or the money. Rather, we just do what needs to be done. We recognize and seek out the inequities, the needs and wants of people in our communities and libraries. We figure out what needs to happen to meet those needs and reduce those inequities, and we just do it. So when I read the nomination narrative and the patron testimonials, I was instantly humbled and grateful. Throughout my years of librarianship, I have worked with colleagues who have the same values of public librarianship that I do. These people have mentored me, taught me, and shaped who I am as a librarian. I truly would not have been able to reach underserved populations, facilitate the development of literacy skills, issue library cards to thousands of district students, or provide excellent patron service without the support of my colleagues and partnerships with community organizations. Anyone who has worked in public libraries knows it's not an easy job. We work with patrons who have a vast range of abilities, skills, and needs, and we serve them all to the best of our abilities. Successful public librarianship requires a web of support through multiple levels in the community. It's early days in my current role at Vinton Public Library, and I am currently working to build safe, effective programming for all ages and abilities as we continue through the COVID-19 pandemic. While at Marion Public Library, my favorite task was creating and facilitating exciting, accessible programming for a variety of patrons. It is the connection with patrons that fuels my energy for librarianship. The patron who wasn't going to come to the program, but surrendered after I invited them with a megawatt smile. The one who now comes, week after week. It's the children who hug my knees and scream for parachute play at the end of story time. It's the people who keep me coming back day after day. This is my purpose. In August of 2020, after the initial months of the COVID-19 pandemic, Marion, Vinton, and many surrounding Iowa communities all experienced a derecho, a storm with sustained winds over 100 miles per hour. In Marion, our library was damaged to the extent that we were unable to return, and the city was in chaos of damage and debris. Not only were our hearts bruised by the pandemic, but our library home was gone. Our staff was separated across the city while we did our best to meet the needs of a community that was shell-shocked, exhausted, and devastated. I am so fortunate to have been part of the recovery of Marion, along with my hardworking colleagues who helped nominate me for this award. Our staff was the definition of team, and we did it with dedication and grace. And that's where I'll end this video, with a loving thank you to the Marion staff and patrons who nominated me for this award. When I got the phone call from Julius Jefferson Jr., I thought it was a prank, though he was so nice to talk to. Even after a few days, I still don't quite believe I was selected for this honor, but I am so grateful. Thank you also to the ALA for recognizing librarians with the I Love My Librarian Award. I will cherish this for the rest of my life.
The dedication to service that John Paul Mahovsky brings to the library at Eastern Correctional Institution in Westover, Maryland is an inspiration. Nominated by an incarcerated person at the facility, John Paul works to bring out the best in the justice-involved population he serves. During his tenure, he has started an abundance of programs, notably a creative writing program, typing program, summer reading, and a book discussion group. Even during the pandemic, John Paul continued to ensure access to library services by starting a bookmobile to bring books and information requests to and from people in the facility. His nominator writes that John Paul is a good man who always puts our welfare first and leads by example. Congratulations, John Paul.
Hello, my name is John Paul Mahovsky, and I work at Eastern Correctional Institution in Westover, Maryland. It's on the eastern shore of Maryland. So I just want to say I was floored when I heard about this. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. It's just I've been in this for I'm in my 11th year, and I just never imagined such an honor. So very humbling. I thank Tony for nominating me, and all the patrons that he said helped him craft it when I finally got to go, and thank him when I found out and saw the very humbling letter. There's not a lot of time, so the one thing I want to talk about is when I was looking at questions that may help you get through your video. Why do libraries matter? Correctional libraries matter for a lot of reasons, but maybe the one is I remember once a guy came up to me and he said, "You know, Mr. M, let me tell you what I like about the library." I was like, "All right." And he said, "When you were little," and this story is good because it fits this time of year, and I've always thought about this. He's like, "Did you ever?" He's like, "Well, my mom used to pack us up in the car, and we would go to the expensive neighborhoods and look at the Christmas lights, or even just light displays everywhere." He said, "In the midst of a prison, the library is sort of those lights." And it was, to me, I said, you know, in my life, that's kind of how it is. It's that special that it brings light and happiness in a very dismal, dark, time. So that to me, without being able to elaborate more, and I could all day, I promise you, is why prison libraries and all libraries matter. Thank you so much again, and I really appreciate it.
Tammy Mo has redefined traditional library boundaries in Gallup, New Mexico. She has shown that meaningful learning takes place through storytelling and conversation by fostering community-wide engagement through library programs and services at events and locations around the city. In this majority Indigenous American area, Tammy has focused the library's programming on socially relevant issues, generational experiences, and opportunities for open dialogue that address historically sensitive topics. In the words of one of her nominators, Tammy Mo places the well-being of our community members above all other things and works tirelessly to bring respect, encourage hope, and create agency for all. Congratulations, Tammy.
I'm the director of the Octavia Felon Public Library, known to locals as OFPL. I'm an ally to the Indigenous people, and my life work is centered on decolonizing history and restoring truthful narratives through the preservation of primary sources. I became a librarian on my way to becoming something else. I've been an artist since I was a child. Growing up, I used to go with my mother to her university art classes and absorb so much theory and process that creating art was second nature to me. It came very easily. When I entered the realm of higher education, it was very difficult for me to decide what I would be happy doing as a profession. I initially went the route of science with the intent of becoming a forensics pathologist, but my passion for art and history changed my path, and soon I was pursuing a degree in art history. I lived in Colorado. I worked for the Denver Art Museum. It was the early 90s, and the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act better known as NAGPRA, became federal law. The indigenous people were finally given a chance to recover some of their sacred objects that had been stolen from them in the Indian war campaigns led by the U.S. government beginning in the 18th century. However, there was a problem. The indigenous people first had to find those artifacts, and the majority of museum collections live in storage with no public record. This was also a time when digital asset management systems were coming to the market. I decided that I would take on the challenge of building a system to facilitate the repatriation. Who better to learn from than librarians? I earned my MLIS with an emphasis in archives from the University of Denver in 2003. Fusing my passion for history, my love of art, the methodologies of library science, and the endless opportunities to build access to primary sources through archives launched a career that would take me around the world. It is this space that you discover stolen histories, the silence of indigenous voices, the forgotten stories of oral traditions, the understanding that the world is a much different place than we perceive. Returning to America in 2014 and coming to work for the Public Library in Gallup, New Mexico in 2017 has brought me full circle from where my journey began. An opportunity to be an ally and elevate the voices of the people who had suffered the systemic racism that is built into the institutions of America. Public libraries are the manifestation of what it means to be free. It is a feeling of anticipation, excitement, hope, and possibility. There's something visceral about being in a library that can transport you to a different space. It is immersive and evocative, stimulating all of your senses. When I first came to the Octavia Philin Public Library, that feeling of hope and excitement, of possibility, was absent. The library was visibly unhappy. The thing that I'm most proud of is the transformation of the library team. Investing in them is my highest priority, and the results are remarkable. With opportunities for ongoing professional development, involvement in our strategic planning, and freedom to explore their own passions, they have changed the impact of this library within our community.
On behalf of all of us at ALA, congratulations again to our winners. While we can't convene to give you a standing ovation in person this year, know that we are all cheering for you from afar. Thank you for sharing such inspiring words with us today. Finally, I want to thank all the viewers who have joined us today for the virtual award ceremony. In a year of so many personal and professional challenges, it's truly a joy to come together and celebrate something so uplifting. Please take care and be well. Thank you all.